The Watts Family Murders, 2018. Officer, Bodycam Audio Recreation. Chris, when was the last time you saw your wife? A long pause. Chris Watts, like 5:15 this morning. She said she was taking the girls to a friend's house. Cut to surveillance footage from a neighbor's driveway camera. A pickup truck idles in the darkness. It started as a missing persons case. A pregnant mother. 2 little girls. Gone without a trace. But within days, investigators would uncover a truth so disturbing, so calculated, that it would shock the nation. This is a story of how Chris Watts murdered his pregnant wife and daughters and tried to convince the world he was a grieving husband. Frederick, Colorado, August 2018. Shanann Watts was 34 years old, a vibrant, outspoken mother of 2. She was 15 weeks pregnant with a baby boy she planned to name Nico. On social media, she appeared to have the perfect life, motivational posts, videos of her daughters laughing, family vacations. Her husband, Chris Watts, 33, worked as an operator for Anadarko Petroleum. Quiet, soft-spoken, described by neighbors as a nice guy. Their daughters, Bella, 4, and Celeste, known as CC, 3, were energetic and affectionate. From the outside, it was a picture-perfect suburban family. But behind closed doors, cracks were forming. Financial stress weighed heavily on the household. The couple had previously declared bankruptcy. Their mortgage payments were behind. And then there was something else. An affair. In the summer of 2018, Chris began a relationship with a co-worker named Nicole Kessinger. Text messages later revealed he had told her he was separated. He wasn't. By August, Shanann had begun to sense something was wrong. She confided in friends. Shanann, text message recreation, I don't feel safe. Something is off with him. On August 13, 2018, Shanann returned home from a business trip around 2 a.m. She was exhausted. It would be the last time anyone outside their house would see her alive. Sometime in the early hours of August 13th, inside the Watts home, an argument erupted. Chris later told investigators Shanann confronted him about the affair. He claimed she said he would never see the kids again. But what happened next would only be revealed weeks later, after mounting evidence crushed his lies. Chris strangled Shanann in their bedroom. No defensive wounds. No signs of struggle. She was 15 weeks pregnant. Then came the unthinkable. Chris would later confess that his daughters were still alive after their mother's murder. He placed Shanann's body in the back of his work truck. Then he loaded Bella and Cece inside, telling them they were going somewhere new. At 5:27 a.m., neighbor Nate's camera captured Chris backing his truck into the driveway. 4:45 minutes, he loaded items, a gas can, tools, and his family. He drove to an isolated oil field owned by his employer, Survey 319. There, he buried Shanann in a shallow grave. And his daughters, he smothered them one at a time, then placed their small bodies into separate oil tanks. The details were horrific, calculated, methodical. The man who neighbors described as quiet and kind had erased his entire family before sunrise. Investigation. By afternoon, Shanann's friend Nicole Atkinson was worried. Shanann missed a doctor's appointment. She wasn't answering texts. Her car was still in the garage. Nicole called police. When officers arrived, Chris appeared calm. Too calm. Officer, Bodycam. Chris, where's your wife? Chris, I don't know. She said she was going to a friend's house. But something didn't sit right. Shanann's purse was inside. Her medication was untouched. The girls' car seats were still there. People don't leave without their phone. And Shanann's phone was found between couch cushions. Then came the first crack. Police asked to review neighbor Nate's surveillance footage. As they stood in Nate's living room, watching the video of Chris loading his truck, Chris began swaying. His hands folded tightly. His breathing changed. Nate later told reporters, Nate, when that footage came on, he wasn't acting right. That's when I knew. Within 48 hours, Chris Watts went from worried husband to prime suspect. The FBI joined the case. Investigators examined his phone records. They uncovered hundreds of text messages between Chris and his mistress, Google searches, wedding songs, romantic getaways, and chillingly, how much does divorce cost? Then came the polygraph test. Examiner: did you physically cause Shanann's disappearance? Chris: no. The machine disagreed. He failed. Moments later, under pressure, Chris offered a partial confession. He claimed Shanann killed the girls, and in a rage, he killed her. But the evidence didn't support it. No signs of harm to the children before that morning. Investigators pushed harder. Finally, he broke. He confessed to everything. The murders, the burial, the oil tanks. Agents later described the moment they recovered the girls' bodies as one of the most haunting experiences of their careers. Outcome and aftermath. On November 6, 2018, Chris Watts pleaded guilty to 9 criminal counts. 5 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of unlawful termination of a pregnancy, 3 counts of tampering with a deceased body. He accepted a plea deal to avoid the death penalty. Sentenced to life in prison without parole. No trial. No dramatic courtroom battle. Just a quiet admission of horror. In court, Shanann's father addressed him. Frank Rusek: I trusted you to take care of them, not kill them. The community of Frederick held candlelight vigils. Stuffed animals piled high outside the home. The house was later sold. But the shadow remained. The case sparked national debate. How does someone commit such evil without warning? Were there signs missed? Was it financial pressure? Narcissism? The affair? Psychologists later labeled it a case of family annihilation, often committed by men who see their families as extensions of themselves. When their world collapses, they destroy everything tied to it. Chris Watts didn't snap in a moment of rage. He made a series of choices. Quiet, calculated, deadly. In interviews from prison, he later admitted, Chris, prison interview excerpt, I don't even know how I could do that. But the truth is, he did. 3 lives ended before sunrise. A mother, 2 daughters, an unborn son, all erased by the one person meant to protect them. This case reminds us that sometimes the greatest danger doesn't come from strangers lurking in shadows. It comes from the person sitting beside you at the dinner table. And in the quiet streets of suburban America, evil can look perfectly ordinary.